everyone, it's Hailey Escobar-Collazos, co-host of Just Ask Connie, Almost Anything. Unfortunately, Connie has not been feeling well the past few days, and we've been unable to record our usual podcast, and we're wishing her a very speedy recovery. But we do have some older videos of hers that I thought what a better way to introduce you a little bit more into who Connie is and how she's been giving such great advice for years than using some of these older videos that are all on her YouTube page. So a lot of these are from her Quit series, and they have some great advice for you listeners. The first two clips that we're using are specifically for our couples and for relationships. But remember, some advice can always cross over into other areas of our lives. Our first throwback is about setting unrealistic expectations in your relationships. Let's listen in.
Couples often disagree with this. There's often one person that wants to be a couple all the time, and they get pure joy out of that. And then there's another one who kind of wants to be off and doing their own thing all the time. And both of those, there has to be a compromise in that. It's not healthy for a couple to do everything together. It's important for people to have other interests and other friends, and yet it's not really healthy if you're always with your friends, you're always at work, you're always alone, and I'm always with mine. At some point, we lose that connection too. So, quit being unrealistic. A good relationship, has a little bit of both.
Of course, in the dating phase, everyone is infinitely fascinating.
Yes.
So we talk a lot.
Yes. And we think the other person wants to talk because we tell everything, and then we get into a relationship. Well, that person's million words in their whole life are gone, and now they're not ready anymore.
And quitting being unrealistic then about that time is that the dating stage, and when you're first together, you naturally want to be together so much, and maybe not so much after time.
Well, the hormones definitely last about 18 months. Those are amazing. Well, if they lasted anymore, none of us would work. I mean, we wouldn't have a job, we wouldn't work, in that first rush of this love, when all the hormones in your body are working, there is nothing else we care about. We don't care about the job or work or other people or our friends. It's there. But, that does go away. And when that goes away, then there has to be other connections that make the two of us want to stay together.
And things change, don't they? For instance, children.
Yes.
Definitely some helpful advice for our couples, especially those who've been together for a while. Continuing on in that thread, have you ever felt like giving up, whether it's on an argument or putting an effort, being romantic, or even being yourself? This is something that's common for a lot of people who've been in extended relationships or who've been together for a number of years, and this piece of advice is definitely for you.
Marriage is really tough. I think when they invented marriage, probably, whatever, thousands, millions of years ago, we probably only lived like 27 years, right? So if you married someone, you were with them like 15 years. Anyone could, but now we can legitimately or almost be with someone if we married at 25 for 70 years. You could be with someone, and it's tough, and we aren't the same person. Someone says, well, I've been married for 50 years to 3 different people, but he was all the same person. I think if you look at your wife, I look at my spouse, even within 10 years, we've been very different people. We've changed. And so quit giving up means that, if this is a person that you were attracted to, and if this is a person you've gone through a lot with, then just giving up. And a lot of couples give up way before, I'm not even talking about divorce. Quit giving up. They've just given up. They may even stay with the person.
Do you think people do this too easily?
Oh, yeah. They just give up. They give up trying to make it work. They give up trying to be sexy. They give up trying to be romantic. They give up trying to be fun. They give up trying to have empathy for what the other person's going through. And we start to think about ourselves, what I do, and I stop thinking about what you're doing or how you're feeling. We give up sometimes on ourselves. Sometimes that's what we give up on a marriage. I haven't given up on you, but I've given up on me. I've given up on caring about how I look or caring about how I feel, or I've given up on, even trying to be fun together or have a relationship together. And that's where the work comes in. When couples say, well, I don't know if I want to marry if it's work. Work means that, every job requires work. No matter what I learn, then I have to learn something else, and then I have to learn something else, and then I have to approach a meeting, and then I have to sell a new product. Well, marriage is just the same. You and I, if we're married, are going to have to quit giving up on each other and quit giving up on ourselves, thinking that we don't care anymore or we're not good enough. So marriage is not easy. It's a lot of work, but with the right amount of work, it can be amazing. This could be the one person in this crazy, insane world who has your back.
That was fantastic, especially the part about giving up on yourself, because that's not something everyone thinks about when they're in a relationship. Now we're moving away from our relationships and actually focusing on you. This can help you at work, at home, just about anywhere in your life, because you are the common denominator in everything, if you really get down to it. Our first piece of advice: quit expecting happiness to come from getting what you want. This one I found really interesting myself, so make sure you are paying attention.
This is how most of us view it. You ask the average person, they would say happiness: when I make X amount of money, I'll be happy. When I have this size house, I'll be happy. When I find my soulmate, that one person that loves me, I'll be happy. When I lose weight, I'll be happy. Most everyone has a reason. If you say to them on a score of 1 to 10, if we went out to New York today and went up to people on the street and said from 1 to 10 how happy you are, and we would be getting 4s, 5s, and 6s the most. And here we are in this amazing place, with all sorts of opportunities. But then if you said to them, what would need to happen for you to be a 9 or a 10? They'd all have a reason.
Would they all have that? Would they all be able to?
Most of them would all have a reason, or at least what they've told themselves. And it would be money, or it would be the person, or a relationship, or it would be health, or weight, or I wish I had, And so we've generally defined happiness as what a result. When I get this, and this, then I will be happy. Well, it's no wonder everyone's unhappy, because we're never getting. As soon as we get one, then it's, well, I need this. But I've learned over the years that that's really the wrong way to define happiness. Happiness really isn't a result, because it's not working. Happiness, I've discovered, is really the catalyst to getting what you want. So it's a whole different way of looking at it. It's not you get what you want and then you're happy. It pretty well has to come first. When you are happy, you're probably going to lose the weight, because when you're unhappy, you eat for all sorts of wrong reasons. When you're happy, you will probably find the right person, because when you're unhappy, no one really wants to be with you, especially live with you. When you're happy, you will probably get the promotion, because people love your enthusiasm and your attitude. And when you're unhappy, no one wants to work with you, let alone promote you. So
this is a real double bind.
It's a very, and it's hard for people, because, well, how can I be happy? Are you expecting me to be happy without these things? And I'm answering them pretty much, yeah, because it's not going to happen unhappy. All the things you want that's keeping you from being a 5 to a 10, as long as you're miserable, sad, angry, unhappy, they're pretty much not going to happen. And so your only other result is to be unhappy the rest of your life.
So this last segment is definitely one you really want to be paying attention to. You want to take some notes. I know I did. It's one of my favorite clips in this whole series that I have for you today. I know it's one I needed to hear. Quit being your own worst enemy. Because isn't that true for a lot of us? I'm just going to let you listen.
We are, most of us. There's no parent in the world, no boss in the world, no friend in the world. For most people, no one is more critical, more negative, more, depressing to be around sometimes than ourselves. The talk that goes through our minds, you can't, you won't. And again, I'm saying face reality, but what did they think? What did they do? Did I do that right? Did I do this right? Well, I shouldn't do that. Our talk about, what people think of us and what we can do and what we can't do. We are more negative and harder on ourselves.
The self-talk can be bad,
right.
Can't it? Yeah.
Self-talk is really bad. And people say, how do I stop it? And I say, just stop.
Just stop.
When I start worrying and mulling over things and I get on this track and I do the same thing where I just, what if this happened? What if that happened? How did I say that? And I start rehashing and reliving this whole conversation, wondering, I honestly this other voice comes in and says, stop. And I can't do it. No, I want to go through that. No, stop. And I literally have to I have to play loud music. I have to turn on the TV. I have to physically do something to make myself stop. Because I don't think anyone in my life has ever been tougher on me or more unfair to me or more critical of me than I have been to myself. And that's a killer. That's a real killer.
And as many people sort of have this slightly passive approach to all of this. But I love to hear you say and sort of share that you go and do something. You play the music. There's something physical sometimes about the changes that we have to make.
Again, it goes back to the happiness. We have to fight for our happiness. When I'm doing self-talk that's negative and I'm pulling myself down, I want to do it. I want to go through that whole conversation. I want to prove that I was wrong or they were wrong, and I go over it and over it and over it. I have to have another voice that comes in stronger and fights and says, don't do it. It's over. You did the best you could. Stop being so hard on yourself. It's over. Yeah. So again, it comes back to how we treat ourselves. It all comes back to how we treat ourselves.
And in the context of being the best that you can be, then, the topic of this little session here, do you think people are aware of what they need to do? Do you think people are aware of what they need to quit?
Not always. They're either not aware, but that we have to take credit for that. If we're not aware, it's because we aren't trying to be aware. Or they are aware and it's just too tough, or it's too hard, or they like to be a victim. I mean, it's amazing what people are aware of and still make choices to not fight to have it be better. Life is a fight. It's a fighting to not listen to your self-talk. It's a fight to not be around difficult people. It's a fight to be afraid of things. It's a fight. And it takes a lot of courage and gumption to want to fight for this one little life here to be amazing. But oh my goodness, it's worth the fight.
I hope that you found a lot of help in that video and all of our videos from today's podcast, all of our advice from this podcast, if you're listening in on one of our other platforms and not watching this on YouTube. Thank you so much for looking back at some of Connie's great pieces of advice that she's given us throughout the years. And a lot of it, I think, is still very much relevant today. If you like these and want to listen to more of these short segments, you can certainly check out our YouTube page, Connie Podesta Presents, to find all of it, including all of those lists that you kind of got an inkling from. And if you didn't find the advice you're looking for, well, we have something for that. We now have a questions email that you can submit to, which is podcast@conniepodesta.com. So if you send your questions there, we will compile all of them, and you might even hear your question on one of our future podcast episodes. Thank you so much for joining me and keeping me company here while I'm waiting for Connie to hopefully feel better soon. Tune in on our next episode, and we look forward to asking Connie almost anything.